What's up, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and I'm comparing the top 5 rated players at each position in NBA 2K15 and NBA Live 15. The NBA 2K15 ratings just dropped completely, so we have all the information there. So I put together this little chart for each position so we can kind of compare, which games had which guys rated in the top 5. So let's start with the big men. Top 2 is a pretty consensus, Dwight and Noah. Now, NBA 2K15 has Dwight slightly ahead of Noah. And Live, Dwight, Noah, and DeMarcus Cousins are all rated at 90. But throughout the ratings, you see it's pretty much the same. Now, it's the same 5 guys, just a little switched around here and there. You swap Jefferson for Cousins at 3rd and 4th, pretty much. So, all right, this is my thing. All 5 of those guys are obviously among the best centers in the league. But to me, there's a glaring omission from both games. Where? Okay. Well, before I even get there, Dwight and Noah. Does anybody feel like Dwight and Noah are equal, or do they feel like Dwight should be ahead of Noah? I'm a Bulls fan. I love Joakim Noah, but I still would put Dwight Howard ahead of Joakim Noah. That's just me. I would. Dwight Howard still has ability to dominate a game. I don't think Noah can do that on both ends. That's just that. This is what I'm talking about, though. Where is DeAndre Jordan? DeAndre Jordan last year led the league in field goal percentage. He led the league in rebounding. He was 4th in the league in blocks. Okay. It's hard for me to understand how a guy who's had a year like that isn't one of the top 5 centers in the league. I don't know. You ask me right now, who would I rather have between DeAndre Jordan and Marc Gasol? I'm going to tell you DeAndre Jordan. I don't know. Y'all let me know if you agree. Let's move to the power forwards. There's a kind of one big difference here. NBA 2K15 has Tim Duncan number 1. Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, and Anthony Davis, Aldridge. NBA Live 15 doesn't even have Duncan in the top 5 at all. And Dirk Nowitzki comes in as 5th. Okay? Now, we got to kind of understand the philosophy, the strategy in terms of the rating process for 2K. They're going more putting value on guys like what do they mean to their team, and had that actually playing a role in how the ratings were determined. So obviously the Spurs won the championship. Anybody can tell you Tim Duncan was the most, if not the one of the most, he was the most important player on the squad. So you kind of, from that standpoint, you got to kind of give him the nod there. I'm looking at Anthony Davis as a guy right now. I'm going to tell y'all, and this probably shouldn't shock too many. This shouldn't shock too many people. But in my personal opinion, at the end of this season, Anthony Davis is going to be at the top of that list. He'll be the best power forward in the NBA by the time, barring injury, of course. He's going to be the best power forward in the NBA. You could make a case that he might be already there now, but obviously having never led a team to a playoff, they ain't stopping nobody from giving Kevin Love a bunch of appreciation. But watch what I say. Small forwards, academic at the top, LeBron, KD, Melo, even Kawhi Leonard right there at number 4 is pretty much the same on both sides. Everybody knows LeBron James is the best player on the planet. Just that simple. KD, maybe slightly closing the gap, but LeBron's still a man. At 5th, you got 2K has Rudy Gay and Iguodala tied. NBA Live 15 just has Iguodala there. Live didn't really recognize Rudy Gay like that, but it's not that big of a deal there. I mean, this is pretty much the consensus right here. There really isn't another small forward who is even really knocking on the door to be there. I mean, obviously, we got to talk about Paul George. Paul George would be there. He's in Live, he's a 90. But because he's injured, they didn't have his ratings there. I don't know what his rating is in 2K, but you'd have to think it's right up there too. So I guess the question for the small forwards would be, is if he's in 2K15, would he be ahead of Melo? That's interesting. Obviously, I think he's a better all-around player than Melo, not as good a scorer, and not as good a rebounder either. But obviously a much better defender. So I don't know. That's an interesting question. Where would Paul George rank on? We know he's a 90. So I think that would make him 3rd or 4th in live. But where would he rank in 2K15 if he was included in the rankings? Here's the shooting guards. Top 2 are the same, but just, you know, flip-flopped. Kobe is number 1 in 2K15. Harden's 2. Wade is 3rd. DeRozan number 4. Lance Stevenson number 5. Live 15, not too different except for Harden gets the number 1 spot. Kobe, Wade, Stevenson, then DeRozan. This is going to be a big one here. This is going to be a big one because is Kobe still the best shooting guard in the NBA? Now, obviously, you look at this list, you see there's not a ton of like elite shooting guards, right? But is Kobe really still the best? Can we say, after the injuries that he's had and his age, can we really say he's the best? Obviously, James Harden's game has some flaws. We know it's been well documented that he's not a great defender. That's been well documented, right? But he's a proven scorer, 25, 20. I mean, obviously, Kobe is that too, but Kobe is 36, I believe, 36, 37 years old. I mean, come on. You know, at some point, you got to say, and then, you know, he's coming off torn Achilles and all kinds of stuff, right? So it's a legitimate question. But then again, you don't want to really doubt Kobe because we all know how he is in regards to his competitiveness, his drive, his motivation. And from what I've heard in the 5-on-5 drills leading up to this point, he has been looking awesome. So if Kobe comes back to his, you know, most recent form, obviously he's still one of the best 2 guards in the league. But I'm not even sure that guy is better than James Harden. So that's the thing. Now, we're not talking about lifetime achievement. Obviously, we know Kobe's one of the greatest of all time. James Harden ain't even close to that yet. We're talking about right now, today. That's the question. So, looking at the point guards, consensus top 3, Paul, Curry, Westbrook, Tony Parker number 4, number 5, Derrick Rose. Now, Live has John Wall at number 4, and there's a 3-way tie for 5th with Rose, Parker, and Lillard. I don't know, me personally, Russell Westbrook deserves to be number 2 to me. He's not a perfect point guard, obviously. He does probably a lot too much shooting. He's not a bad playmaker. That's the one thing people try to talk about, like he's a bad playmaker. I mean, he averaged 6.9 assists a game. That's a lot of assists for a guy who is depended on by his team to score as much as he does. He's also a much better defender than Steph Curry, and he also finishes closer to the basket better than Curry. Now, Curry, obviously, I think is a slightly better ball handler. He's a better ball handler. And obviously, he's a much better shooter. But I don't know. I'm not sure that I would think that Curry's better. One big thing with Live, though, when you look at the Live ratings, now this is no in any way, shape, or form a disrespect to John Wall, right? John Wall is a budding star, but there is no way in blue devil dog hell that John Wall is a better player than Tony Parker. Not right now, he isn't. There's just no way. I can understand pulling, even though Derrick Rose has won an MVP, but obviously he's coming off 2 knee surgeries or whatever. I can understand that. But I just can't see John Wall being ahead of Tony Parker right now. I mean, I just can't see that. You might not like the Spurs, but come on. Y'all please like this video, subscribe, follow, and peace.